بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. I praise Allah who deserves all praises, bearing witness that there is no deity ever worthy of worship except Allah, and that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his slave and messenger. I would like to remind you what the Prophet ﷺ was always saying. وَإِيَّاكُمْ وَمُحْدَثَاتِ الْأُمُورِ. Beware, avoid, be cautious, stay away from innovations. فَإِنَّ كُلَّ مُحْدَثَةٍ بِدْعَةٍ وَكُلَّ بِدْعَةٍ ضَلَالَةٍ. For every innovation is a matter of misguidance. زاد النسائي. Nasa'i had additional statement in this hadith, which is authentic. وَكُلَّ ضَلَالَةٍ فِي النَّارِ. And every misguidance in where the misguidance will be? In hell or in Jannah? Very good. I want you to pay good attention to me. So every innovation is misguidance, and every misguidance where? In Jahannam. But if we say not all innovations are misguidance, there is a good innovation, good bid'ah and bad bid'ah, that means we should necessarily believe as well that not every dalala is in hell. There might be good dalala and bad dalala. That's the first benefit that I want you to grab from my lecture. By this you can debate anyone on that. Against those who say there's a good bid'ah and there's a bad bid'ah. No. In matter of deen that we have taken from the Prophet ﷺ, there is no good bid'ah. There is no good bid'ah. Because we are confined in our matter of deen to follow, not to innovate. You want to innovate spaceship, jet fighter, no problem, go ahead. But in your matter of deen, this Prophet is your good example, and that's all. And he was the best worshipper. Is there any better worshipper than the Prophet? Yes or no? What if I said yes? Kick me out of the mosque immediately. The answer, no. So he has the best worship. So where do we add something he didn't do? Is our worship better than his? Good question. He is the best one that ever worshipped Allah. So every innovation is dalala, and every dalala will go to hell. Narrated by Musnad Ahmad that the Prophet ﷺ said, and I think you know the title of our lecture today, وَحُسْنِ عِبَادَتِك. وَحُسْنِ عِبَادَتِك. And the best performance of worshipping you, Allah. The best performance of worshipping you. So narrated by Mu'adh that the Prophet ﷺ said, Ya Mu'adh, Wallahi inni la uhibbuk. What a lucky companion is Mu'adh. The Prophet is swearing by Allah that he loves Mu'adh. Now wait a minute. The Prophet is going to love you as well, as long as you trace his sunnah. There is no one that the Prophet loves among those who persist on their bid'ah and say, what's the matter with doing bid'ah? What is the matter of that? There is a good bid'ah and a bad bid'ah. You are going to hell while you don't realize it. Because Allah said, وَإِن تُطِيعُوهُ تَهْتَدُوا. And if you obey Him, you will be guided. But those people say, as if they are saying to us, وَإِن تَبْتَدِعُوا تَهْتَدُوا. But if you innovate, you'll be guided. No! So let's get back to the hadith. يا معاذ والله إني لا أحب لا تنسى أن تقول عقب كل صلاة اللهم أعني على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. Oh Allah, help me, help me. Don't forget to say at the back of every prayer. Aqib, it is understood to be among the last supplications you invoke Allah in your prayer. Before you say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So don't forget to say these words. Oh Allah, help me improving my worship to you. The Prophet is instructing us to invoke Allah with what we need or we don't need. So you need to improve and enhance your worship. You need it. The Prophet ordered you to ask Allah to help you improving it. Compare this to what people are falling in now in their innovations, in their bid'ah. And they are arrogant sometimes. If you warn them, this is bid'ah. We know who you are now. Wahhabi. They have ready stamp. Huh? You say bid'ah? Bid'ah, huh? Okay. Wahhabi. What's the name of Wahhabi? It's from Al-Wahhab. Who's the Wahhab? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. See how ignorant you are when you use the word Wahhabi? Even when you use the word Wahhabi, you're ignorant. Because you're using the name, one of the names of Allah on the on what? Insulting people. You're using the name of Allah to insult people and to offend people. Using the name of Allah to offend people. Isn't this amazing? Subhanallah. But you know, the real guided person, he doesn't care. They want to give you, to classify you like this, to throw sorrow and sadness in your heart, to discourage you from sticking to the sunnah. Don't care about them. Care about Allah. Allah is on your side. What we're bringing, are we bringing something new of what the Prophet ﷺ did? No. So the Prophet ﷺ taught us a dua that we need. So you need to improve your worship. Believe me, brothers, that being ignorant in your matter of worship is one of the issues of fitna. It's fitna. You know the meaning of fitna? Trial, tribulation, test. No. Because the Prophet used to say to us, pray as you see me praying. Take your rituals of Hajj from me. خُذُوا عَنِّي مَنَاسِكَكُمْ. So he's instructing you to take your matter of worship from him. But we don't find in Bukhari where the Prophet used to be going like this. Allah, Allah. Not in Bukhari, not in Muslim, not in any book of hadith. Where did he get it from? Don't ask me. Wallahi, I'm going to say you're Wahhabi. Never ask me this question. Where did he get it from? Dancing? Seeking to get closer to Allah by dancing? Have you seen those who go like and they fall on the ground and what is that? يا أمة ضحكت من جهلها الأمم. What a nation that other nations had laughed over its ignorance. This is ignorance. That is why this ummah is getting weakened. We're getting weak. I think now your memory is scanning the weakness that our brothers in Afghanistan are encountering, in Pakistan as well, many places in the world. Why is this? We are paying the taxes of our ignorance, our bad performance of worship to Allah. We're paying the taxes. These are the taxes. What is the worship? What is the best worship? Our da'wah is based on two things: that we worship none but Allah, and that we worship Allah not by anything but by the instructions of His Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We worship Allah by what He ruled for us as matter of worship, not by what we desire in matters of worship. No, matter of worship is not left to your desire. What you desire, what you pick. No. Allah when the companions committed a mistake, you remember the story of the Prophet in Ghazwat Uhud, when the Prophet said to those people on the top of the hill, never leave your place, no matter what happened. If you see the birds, the eagles, eating our heads, knocking our heads, never leave your places. They differed. They saw the spoils, the sheep, the camels, and the army of the disbelievers is fleeing and leaving behind what? All these spoils, treasures. So those people on the top of the hill, they saw it and they said, wow, the war is over. Let's get down and pick the things. Some others said, no, don't you remember? The Prophet said, don't do that. So they said, no, the Prophet said don't do it as long as the war is on. But now it's over. Let's go down. They went down. So the enemies realized that their numbers is few. Because if there are people on the top of the hill, if there are 10, you don't see what's behind them. So you think that there are a lot of people behind them. But when many of them went down, it became clear to the enemies that, look, there's nothing in fact up. And the Muslims were about to be defeated. That's why Allah said, أَوَلَمَّا أَصَابَتْكُم مُّصِيبَةٌ قَدْ أَصَبْتُم مِّثْلَيْهَا قُلْتُمْ أَنَّى هَذَا قُلْ هُوَ مِنْ عِنْدِ أَنفُسِكُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. When a calamity had stroken you, and you have stroken twice the enemies, the similar of it, then you started to ask, why is this? Why we are about to be defeated? Allah replied and said, say, it is from your own souls, what your hands have earned already. Then He completed the ayah by saying, Allah is powerful over all things. This shouldn't let you doubting Allah's power. No. If Allah wants, Allah can annihilate them in a second, in less than a second. But Allah wanted to give you a lesson. And that lesson of the companions should be a lesson as well to us. Now, what is the best worship? The best worship is Akhlas Aswab. Akhlas, the sincere one, the pure worship. Aswab, the correct one that matches the Sunnah. These are the two elements. These are the two pillars of worship. And people are lacking, falling in mistakes between these two elements. Sometimes there are people who commit shirk in their worship, as Allah said about those before. وَمَا يُؤْمِنُ أَكْثَرُهُمْ بِاللَّهِ إِلَّا وَهُمْ مُشْرِكُونَ. Most of them, they believe not in Allah, but with mingling their iman with shirk. So our worship, what is considered regarding our worship is the quality, not the quantity. The quality of worship. How is your worship? Did you worship Allah sincerely? Did you observe the Sunnah in terms of that worship you're exerting? Very important question. Otherwise, wait for the hammerings and the weakness that we suffer. Today We're suffering a weakness. What is the way out? Returning to Allah. You did not return as should be. There is a logistic, not only logistic, but a physical, materialistic support for those who spread innovation and shirk in the Muslim world. Look at the governors. Their desires and support go to those people that spread innovations and shirk. They're supporting them. They're building the most beautiful mosques for them. You may ask them, where did you get that? Shh, you Wahhabi. You shouldn't know. We know. We have experienced some of those people. They've been supported by the governments. Look at the beautiful TV of the Qadianis today in London. It's the best TV ever. They have all potentials. All potentials. They have no problem with money. Where did you get that? From Her Majesty. They're supported. Why? I'll leave why aside now. But it is a matter of fact. Look at the colonialists. The British colonialism in Asia, in India. How they supported these people. How they supported the Qadianis. So it is not only an internal problem. No, that there are people, outsiders, who are supporting, giving support to those people. And that is not good for Islam and for the Muslims. But that's what's happening. So what is our task? We have to stand strongly and firmly to resist this. Not necessarily by fighting. I'm not saying bring a gun or... No. We should learn how to resist those people. In the good words sometimes. In the good da'wah. Because those are the ummah of ijabah. Not the ummah of da'wah. The ummah of da'wah, that means the nation that we give da'wah to them. The ummah of ijabah are those who have responded to la ilaha illallah. But not perfectly as should be. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, call to the way of your Lord in the way that is best and by wisdom. Now, so as a result, Allah does not break His promise, but we're failing in fulfilling what we promised. Now, have you heard of this hadith? Man yuridillahu bihi khayran yufaqihu fid din. Yes. And I say, man yuridillahu bihi khayran, he whom Allah intends good with him will facilitate for him a way and access of sunnah, a community of sunnah, like this mosque, blessed mosque. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless this mosque and those who support it, because it is a spot of sunnah in the midst of, as you know. You have to sacrifice for this mosque. You have to sacrifice for this spot of light. And I mean what I say. So there is a need to return to the pure fountain of sunnah, as the companions took. And when you purely take from the sunnah, you'll be drinking a pure fountain from Jannah. عَيْنًا يَشْرَبُ بِهَا عِبَادُ اللَّهِ يُفَجِّرُونَهَا تَفْجِيرًا. Now, I want you all, inshallah, in the future, to open the Quran and read the first ayah of Surah Al-Hujurat. There's a great lesson that we take from this ayah. لا تقدموا بين يدي الله ورسوله. Do not proceed over what Allah said and what His Prophet said by an opinion, a personal opinion. That is to proceed your mind, your opinion over what Allah said, and this is a calamity. This is a problem. Today we have some madhabs, I'm not going to mention what madhab is that. They say the sources of my deen are first aql, my mind, second the book, third the sunnah. What if you have sick aql? What minds vary, right? There's a sick mind, there's a good mind. There is a genius mind, but he is deluded by the devil. There are many people who have genius minds, but at the same time they are deluded by the devil. So if we leave our matter of deen to this aql, our deen is going to be lost. And this is impoliteness, because you have to precede the creator of the mind, not your mind which has been created. The creator of the mind, the book of the creator of the mind, then the sunnah of his Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وَمَا آتَاكُمُ وَمَا آتَاكُمْ, not the imam, not the madhab. وَمَا آتَاكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوهُ وَمَا نَهَاكُمْ عَنْهُ فَانْتَهُوا فَلْيَحْذَرِ الَّذِينَ يُخَالِفُونَ عَنْ أَمْرِهِ. Let those who disobey the command of Allah be careful, أَن تُصِيبَهُمْ fitna, that a fitna may strike them, befall them. أَوْ يُصِيبَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ, or a grave punishment it may befall them because of their disobedience to Allah. Allah is giving warning in this ayah, a warning. فَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ, if you disagree on something, فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى, then return it to Allah or the madhab. إِلَى اللَّهِ وَالرَّسُولِ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ. If you disagree, if you differ on something, then return it to Allah and His Messenger if you believe in Allah and the last day. That is better. ذَلِكَ خَيْرٌ وَأَحْسَنُ تَأْوِيلًا, and the best consequence. Because if you don't return what you disagree with to the book of Allah and the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, if you return it to the people, then you will be having the worst consequences, such as what we are suffering today. Now, وَمَا اخْتَلَفْتُمْ فِيهِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ فَحُكْمُهُ, you don't remember the verse? وَمَا اخْتَلَفْتُمْ فِيهِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ فَحُكْمُهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ. Whatever you disagree on any matter, then the decree, the decision about what you disagree should return to Allah. It's beautiful. These verses are very important. We should observe them. Now we come to what the Prophet ﷺ said. He said, whoever obeyed me had already obeyed Allah. And he said in another hadith, كُلُّ أُمَّتِي يَدْخُلُونَ الْجَنَّةَ إِلَّا مَنْ أَبَى. All my nation will be entering paradise except the one who refused to enter paradise. Huh? The companion said, who's he, O Prophet? He said, whoever obeyed me will enter Jannah, and whoever disobeyed me, he had already refused to enter Jannah. To enter Jannah is from me. I added it to explain to you. But the Prophet said, whoever disobeyed me had already refused. That means refused to enter Jannah. It's up to him. Now, Uthman radiallahu anhu, he said, no mit'ah in Hajj. Mit'ah, what's the meaning of mit'ah? Not temporary marriage. No. Mit'at al-Hajj is different than the mit'ah of women. Mit'at al-Hajj is to make Hajj and Umrah in one period of Hajj time. That means you make Umrah, then you shave, for example, okay? Then you wait for the days of Hajj. Then you make Ihram again, then you perform Hajj. Uthman wanted the house of Allah to be visited for two separate rites and rituals. One for to exceed the coming to the house of Allah. That was ijtihad from him. But Ali went against that. Then he waited until he saw Uthman. Then he stood in front of him and he said, لبيك اللهم متعة. Uthman said, are you opposing me? Are you seeking to oppose me? I am the Imam and I said no mit'ah. Then Ali radiallahu anhu said, ما كنت لأدع سنة رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لأحد من الناس. I would have never been supposed to leave the sunnah of Rasulullah to any of other people. Never ever. Look at the greatness of Ali radiallahu anhu and the braveness that he stood up in front of Uthman and he declared it. Now, a couple of months ago, a brother came to me and said, brother, am I allowed to make a blind following? Have you heard of the word blind following? I said, please close your eyes and trace me, follow me. I'm gonna walk. Follow me. What? Close your eyes and that's what it means. Blind for what? You should observe what you're saying. You're saying, can I make a can I follow blindly? And you want me to say to you yes? Shirk in matters of aqidah and innovation in matters of ibadah. These are two troubles. The Prophet mentioned many hadith which are very important. The Prophet said at the last time yani age before the day of judgment, knowledge will be lacked, will be little, and ignorance will be spreading, will be abundant. That is the reason of fitna. That's why the Prophet said, وَتَكْثُرُ الْفِتَنِ, that the fitan will be exceeding multiple kinds of fitna. Why? Because there's no knowledge to know. Because by the knowledge you know how to deal with these issues of fitna. You have the knowledge. Now, who is the best person that dealt against the fitna? And he was the most successful person after the Prophet ﷺ. Abu Bakr. How many fitnas that emerged right after the Prophet's death. And Abu Bakr, wallahi, dealt with these fitan, tribulations, in the best way. That is why his leadership was the best, and the Prophet knew whom to choose after his death. And his preference of Abu Bakr is based on his knowledge that Abu Bakr is the most knowledgeable person among the companions. So we're supposed to be letting those leaders of knowledge leading us. Now, so there's a relevance, there's a tie between what? Between ignorance and fitan, tribulations. Nowadays, brothers, we don't have really problems with the leaders, but our problem is with those who warn the leaders against our way. Wallahi, if he has a green turban, he's going to be turbo against you. Turban and turbo. I think you know what I mean. He's going to be warning even the leaders, watch out those Wahhabis. So you're confined, you're shackled, not because of the leaders, but because of those false religious leaders. Those are your real problem. Because those leaders of corruption and false deen, they're making money with it. So when they know that you are the one who object against them, they're going to be very harsh against you, because you're blocking their way. That's why Allah said in the Quran, يا أيها الذين آمنوا إن كثيرا من الأحبار والرهبان. Allah is talking about the rabbis, priests. He said many of them ليأكلون أموال الناس بالباطل. They are eating, collecting money falsely from people. ويصدون عن سبيل الله. And they are blocking people away from the religion of Allah. Why Allah talked about the money, collecting the money first, then blocking the way? Because if they don't block the way, they can't make money. There's a great indication in this ayah and great benefit. Now, let's go into the reason why I have given this lecture. The lecture is about how to improve your worship, and that is very important. Wallahi, Allah is ordering us to ask Him to help us improving our worship. So don't get angry if someone said to you, brother, you made a mistake in your worship in this issue, that is Don't get angry, because you're supposed to be asking Allah in every prayer to help you improving your worship. So why do you get angry if someone corrected you? You should say, may Allah reward you. Thank you, brother. I need that. I'm asking Allah this. Let's scan the errors that we have nowadays, such as, for example, falling in shirk and calling the shirk tawassul, wasila. Similarizing those who have passed before us, who used to say, ما نعبدهم إلا ليقربونا إلى الله زلفى. We worship them not but to help us, to drive us closer to Allah. So those mushrik, they were looking for some means to help them getting closer to Allah. But did that drive them closer to Allah? No. It took them more distant from Allah. What they used to do? They used to be calling the names of the dead righteous people. Calling them for their... Just like what Christians do today. I mean, imagine if a Christian, for example, came to you and said, Jesus is not God anymore, He's prophet. Well, that's a good point. Okay. Improve it. But what about, oh Mary? I'm just going to keep this only. Oh Mary, help me, save me. But Jesus is a prophet. What do you think? Is that good? Still falling in shirk. Why? Because Mary is dead. Isn't she dead? She's dead. So when you call her in the unseen, you know what you're doing in a matter of fact? When you call somebody a dead person in the unseen, that means you're believing that he is ala kulli shay'in shaheed. He's witness over everything. Because you believe that she's hearing you, and now she's asking Allah for you. What about if there are some other people beside you asking her at the same time? Let's say 1 million people, 10 million people, in different languages. I don't think Maryam was speaking Urdu. So if you say, oh, acha hey Maryam, I don't know how to speak. Hey, speaking, calling Mary in Urdu, will she be understanding your need? I was arguing with someone who said to me, yes, the Prophet knows everything. I said, does he know what I'm doing now? He said, yes. Does he watch Al Jazeera? I said, yes. And BBC at the same time? I said, yes, all channels. I said, all channels? What's the matter with those people? They're making him God. This is the problem. Here we come to this issue. The Prophet is light. Have you heard of this? He's Noor. So what do you mean by he's Noor? There is no shade for him. You know the shade. No shade. Why? He's light. So he's not like us. He's like us, but he's not like us. What? He's like us, but he's not like us. Because I was not created from nur. Where did he get the nur from? From Allah's light. Allah had taken some of his own light and he gave it to the Prophet Muhammad. Based on the hadith of Jabir, the first thing Allah created, O Jabir, the light of your Prophet. Have you heard of this hadith? Which is fabricated. And people stick themselves. You know, that makes them becoming similar to Christianity. Because in the Christian Catholic catechism, they say that Jesus is God of God. Ilahun min ilah. Nurun min nur. A light from light. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made Jesus from his own light. That's why Jesus is light. Oh my goodness. There's a similarity. And one brother said to me, where's the Quran? He said to me, is this Quran nur or not? I said, yes, the Quran is nur. Where's the light? Turn off the light. Where's the nur? They're playing games. No. The nur of the Quran is its guidance. We're not talking about the light that you're talking about. The light you're talking about is that the Prophet has no shade. But there is shade of this Quran. This Quran has shade or not? I can see the shade. But you say that the Prophet has no shade. So don't delude people. This is illusion. You're playing games. When you talk about the Prophet, the light of the Prophet, you're saying that he has no shade. But wait a minute, in Sahih Muslim, Aisha woke up in the midst of the night and she was trying to find the Prophet ﷺ. She didn't find him. And she was trying to touch here and there. Then suddenly, she caught the foot of the Prophet ﷺ and he was making qiyam. So why didn't she see his light? See the ignorance of people? No. And they say that the creation of the Prophet is before anything. He is light. He was created. He was the first creature. Oh my God! That means Adam should be saying to the Prophet Muhammad, my daddy? What? They say that the Prophet was created before Adam. So why Adam is the Prophet of the one who had been created before him? See the contradiction. The false doctrines affect the good deeds. People came to Ibn Umar, according to Sahih Muslim, and they said, we have some people who are really tracing knowledge, but they say the matter of predestination, qadr, it's going by itself. That means Allah doesn't know about it until it occurs and happens. He said, tell those people that I have nothing with them. I'm not of them, they're not of me. And wallahi, that no matter what good they do, it will not be accepted of them until they believe that Allah knows the things before it happened. And I think we all know that shirk also will be cancelling the good deeds. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَقَدِمْنَا إِلَى مَا عَمِلُوا مِنْ عَمَلٍ فَجَعَلْنَاهُ هَبَاءً مَنْثُورًا. We brought there, subhanAllah, it's a beautiful ayah. Wallah, it's a beautiful ayah. Where's that? In Surah Al-Furqan. We came to the works they've been doing, to their actions, and we made it like a scattering dust. We made their actions like a dispersed dust. That means we threw away, we rejected, we threw away their actions, not accepted. Now those people don't only say that the Prophet is light, they carry on in their mischief, in their corruption. They say, Rasulullah Hazir Nazir. Have you heard of that word before? Hazir Nazir. You know what it means? He's present. He's observing. MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Yani not only Wallahu basirun bima ta'malun. It's not only Allah that He's watching what you're doing, even the Prophet Muhammad watching what you're doing, all of you. But wait a minute. There's hadith that the Prophet at the Day of Judgment, he will be trying to grant people water from Al-Kawthar, but they will be blocked. They will be stopped. Stay away. No. The Prophet will be saying, those are my people. It will be said to him, you don't know what they've been doing. إِنَّكَ لَا تَدْرِي مَا أَحْدَثُوا بَعْدَكَ. You don't know what they have done after you. That's in Sahih Bukhari. So why it's been said to the Prophet, you don't know what they have done after you? If he is really Hazar Nazar as they claim. Not only that, but he comes at the middle month of Sha'ban, the 15th of Sha'ban, and some railway people in the mosque, they put a chair to the Prophet Muhammad. For example, if I have this chair now, oh Prophet of Allah, I believe you're here now. Make dua for me, O Prophet. They believe that the Prophet is on the chair now. But I was saying to them, wait a minute, there's another mosque, okay, in front of this mosque. There are other railway people, they have a chair also for the Prophet, another chair. So how many prophets we have? This is because of the ignorance, no knowledge. Now, and also you must have seen them writing certain corners of the mosque, Ya Rasulullah, Oh Rasulullah, Ya Allah, Ya Muhammad. And if you argue with them, they say, no, Ya Allah means yes, oh Allah help us. But Ya Muhammad, no, we didn't mean. We're saying Ya Muhammad. Why? Why are you putting them both together like this and you say it's not the same? It is the same. Don't you ask the Prophet? Don't you ask him for your need? So what is the difference between us and the Shia then? The Shia are saying, Ya Rasulullah, Ya Ali, Ya Hussein. Oh, sorry. What is the difference between us and the Christians who say, Ya Jesus, Ya Maryam? There's a similarity. Yeah. But still the Christians are better than Wahhabis. Christians are still better than Wahhabis. Wahhabis are always the worst. We're poor people, what did we do? Wallah, we didn't do anything. Explain to me, if I'm Wahhabi, what is the false doctrine I have? You hate the Prophet. Huh? No, Allah, you're a liar. That's what Christians say. You hate Jesus. Yeah, we hate Jesus. If we agree with your shirk, then we become lovers of Jesus. But if we disagreed with you, no, you hate Jesus. Don't risk your Jannah. Look, if you commit a shirk, you may say, I may be right, I may be wrong, okay? But what if you were wrong? You know what is the consequence of shirk? No Jannah. Inna Allah la yaghfiru an yushraka bih. Allah does not forgive that some other being interfered as a partner with Him. But you may say, wait a minute, I'm not worshipping the Prophet. What are you doing then? I'm only invoking him. See, the mushrikeen said, مَا نَعْبُدُهُمْ إِلَّا لِيُقَرِّبُونَا إِلَى اللَّهِ زُلْفَى. We're not worshipping them, but so that they drive us closer to Allah. We worship not those people except for this reason. So those mushriks, they said we worship those people not but for a reason. But we Muslims, we say, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah, we don't worship. Yeah, it's because of your ignorance. Do you know that the Prophet said, Ad-du'a huwal ibadah? He said it. He said, invoking is worship. You thought because of your ignorance that when you invoke the Prophet, you're not worshipping him. But he himself, the Prophet said, invoking is a matter of worship. What is the difference? The difference is your ignorance in what the Prophet said. Look, Allah said, فَاعْبُدِ اللَّهَ. Can you complete this please? فَاعْبُدِ اللَّهَ مُخْلِصًا لَهُ الدِّينَ. Where's that? In which chapter? Az-Zumar. worship Allah, making your deen, religion, sincere to Him, right? طيب. There's another ayah in the next chapter, Surah Ghafir. فَادْعُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ وَلَوْ كَرِهَ الْكَافِرُونَ. Invoke Allah, making your religion sincere to Him. See, in a verse, worship Allah, making your religion sincere to Him. In another ayah, invoke Allah, making your religion sincere to Him. Similar to ayah. One of them is worship, the other one is invoke. So invoke is a matter of worship. Don't mess in this issue. You're risking yourself to lose Jannah. Why do you have to take that risk? One of the problems is building over the grave. Right? Ali radiallahu anhu, we can use the term today, the policeman of Rasulullah. And the Prophet sent that police radiallahu anhu for a certain mission. What is that mission? Not breaking the graves. Be careful, they're going to say you're Wahhabi. See? What had been built over the grave. Not the grave. Because some people, they want to provoke people against you. So they say, look at this Wahhab there. They are destroying the graves. No, we don't destroy the grave. We destroy what had been built over the grave. That's the difference. Who's our good model in this? The policeman of Rasulullah. Who's that? Ali. Narrated in Sahih Muslim that he said to Abu al-Hayyaj al-Asadi, أَلَا أَبْعَثُكَ عَلَى مَا بَعَثَنِي عَلَيْهِ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ. Shall I send you with the mission that the Prophet sent me with? And لَا تَدَعَ قَبْرًا مُشْرِفًا إِلَّا سَوَّيْتَهُ. That you don't leave any built over a grave, but you destroy it. You destroy what had been, except one, this size only. So the grave will be known that there's a grave here, you don't step on it. That's all. This is Sahih Muslim. Yeah, but Ali is Wahhabi. They will say to you, maybe Ali is Wahhabi. Aisha radiallahu anha, she saw the Prophet saying right before his death, may the curse of Allah be upon the Jews and the Christians. They have taken the graves of their prophets as masjid. Aisha said, had not the Prophet said it, we were about to build something. But the Prophet had fears that his grave may be taken as a mosque. Masjid, a place of prostration. Have you seen some people touching the graves, what's been built over the grave? And there are money makers. They put an innocent box. Sanduq. Innocent box. Please, this person will be invoking Allah for you in his grave. So, put money. Here's the trick. Alright, now, because at the end of the day, there are businessmen who will be coming at the end of the day to collect this money. Where would it be going? To the poor people? Nah. No. They're money collectors. Taking advantage of your ignorance. That's why they always bring false fabricated stories about the miracles of the righteous people in their graves. So they will let you go to the graves and put money in those boxes. They mean business. They mean business. Now, I have collected what the Hanafis, the Shafi'is, the Hanbalis, the Malikis, they all agreed that touching the grave is one of the characters or habits of the Jews and the Christians. Among them is Ghazali. He said that. He said when you go to the Masjid al-Nabawi of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when you stand before the grave, don't behave ignorantly. Don't touch the wall. Don't do that, because this is the habit of the Jews and the Christians. He mentioned it in his book Ihya Ulumuddin. And if we show that in the book of Ihya Ulumuddin, maybe this was published in Saudi Arabia. Wahhabis they have added something in it. Oh my God. Coming to the matter of bid'ah. Remember what I mentioned to you about those who will be taken away from drinking al-Kawthar? Scholars say that those people of bid'ah who are of this ummah, they are of this ummah, they're among this ummah, but because of their bid'ah innovations, they will be deprived from drinking from al-Kawthar. What is the significant thing with drinking from al-Kawthar? What does it mean?
You won't be thirsty.
No more thirsty. Finish. That means this is a good news that paradise is waiting for you. But if you were deprived from drinking from that al-Kawthar, that means you're in trouble. Wait for your punishment. So why do you have to commit bid'ah, ya akhi? Why? Why you have to risk yourself in your matter of deen? Now, one person said to me, brother, why people rub on their socks like that? Why? I said, why people rub their eyes like that? Why? He said, there's no evidence about the socks. I said, bring me an evidence about the eyes. No evidence. Nothing. I challenge. Look, I challenge that you bring, that those people, not you, that they bring weak hadith, even if it's weak. I challenge. Even if it's weak, bring it. Show me the source. Nothing. There's nothing. And I say it with challenging. I know what I'm talking about. There's nothing. But it was narrated authentically by Ahmad, Tirmidhi, Bayhaqi, authentically, that Al-Mughira ibn Shu'bah saw the Prophet ﷺ rubbing on his shoes, khuf and socks. It's authentic. And some scholars, they have collected this hadith, that the companions, they saw the Prophet, 9 companions of the Prophet, they saw the Prophet rubbing on the socks. Sometimes people think that they are defending deen while they're defending culture. That's why, in some books, the matter of rubbing on the socks, it had been interfered within the issues of doctrine. Why? It should be in the matter of halal and haram, ahkam, fiqh. Why in matter of doctrine? Because there's something that we call today mu'anada. What's the meaning of mu'anada? Persistence. Opposition. Resistance. See, this is the matter of the problem of these madhabs today. Yes, there is disagreement between Abu Hanifa and Shafi'i. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them Jannah, all. But they were not like those people today. When any of those scholars, the truth had been proven to them, they immediately returned from what they said. That's why you have Muhammad and Abu Yusuf. They disagreed with 2/3 of the madhab of Abu Hanifa. Muhammad and Abu Yusuf, the 2 disciples of Abu Hanifa, they disagreed with the madhab of Abu Hanifa in 2 parts. Yani they agreed with 1 part of his madhab, and the other 2 parts they disagreed with him. And that's not shameful. But the contrary is that this is a good mark for them. This is praising for them. But nowadays the matter is not the same. So this has no proof. What about this? I saw one guy, one brother is that guy, I don't want to say the word guy, sorry. Yeah, a brother in the mosque, whenever he goes, Assalamu alaikum, Assalamu alaikum. So I was going to sometimes say, excuse me, brother, do you have a fever or what? Do you have a fever? Are you suffering a problem? Are you okay? Yeah, okay. So what's the problem? He got this, he inherited this, that's, and I went to Philippines, and I saw the Muslims there, it's a matter of ignorance, sometimes happens. He uses two hands. And I was wondering, what is that? Are you okay? Do you have a heart problem? Do you have a heart attack? No, I'm okay. Yeah. Some people enter the mosque, but immediately they sit down without praying Tahiyatul Masjid, which is against the Sunnah. The Prophet said, if any among you entered the mosque, he should not be sitting down until he performs 2 rak'ah Tahiyatul Masjid. But some people say, except before Maghrib. No, don't do that. No. What the Prophet said has no limitation. It's not limited with any condition. Whenever. That's why even the Prophet, he was giving khutbah, Friday khutbah. Then one Sahabi entered and he immediately sat down. Then the Prophet interrupted his khutbah. He stopped his khutbah. And he was addressing this man. He said, stand up and perform 2 rak'ah. What does this mean to you now? I want you to have one fruitful matter of fiqh from what I mentioned from the Prophet. That Tahiyatul Masjid is wajib. Otherwise, why the Prophet ordered him? He stopped his khutbah. Giving the khutbah is wajib. He stopped the khutbah. And he said to him, stand up and perform 2 rak'ah. I'm giving some examples. Sahur. Isn't important, sahur? When people take sahur, if you remember, usually, what? 1 hour before adhan or more? Usually. 1 hour, 2 hours. Yeah. This is the sunnah. I mean, even if you keep eating, the first part of Allahu Akbar, Shadu an la ilaha illallah, don't go until the end, or don't look for the imam who came in late. There are people of the desire. An imam came half an hour late. He didn't make it. Oh, alhamdulillah, I'm still excused. I can hear the other. No. One of the examples also, if you don't pray Taraweeh, your fasting is not accepted. I was shocked when I heard it. Wallahi, I was shocked. Who's making these conditions? Do you know that the Prophet first used not to pray it? And when he saw people are accumulated behind him, he stopped it and he went home. Do you know that? Why? He had fear that this may be considered as matter of wajib. The Prophet left it because of this. And now you can see the opposite now. People are saying to you, and there are scholars, mashallah, graduated from here and there, and they said to you, if you don't perform Taraweeh, your siyam, your fasting is not accepted. Laylatul Qadr. When is Laylatul Qadr, by the way?
In the last odd nights.
In the 27th. 27th. Which is not true. Yes. It alters. It alters. Sometimes in the 27th, and sometimes 25th, 23rd, 21st, or 29th. No. But at the 27th, people are different. Other than that, no. Which is incorrect. If it's really 27, why the Prophet said, تَحَرَّوْهَا, you should detect it, investigate it. Why he used the word investigate? If it's known that, khalas, it's on the 27th. One of the worst examples is marrying a woman without the permission of her wali. Wallahi, brothers, this is a disaster. The Prophet ﷺ said, whoever, any woman that had allowed herself, permitted herself to be married without the permission of her wali, then her marriage is batil, 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 3 times. Narrated by Aisha authentically. Look what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَأَنْكِحُوا الْأَيَامَ مِنْكُمْ وَالصَّالِحِينَ مِنْ عِبَادِكُمْ وَإِمَائِكُمْ. وَأَنْكِحُوا, grant marriage to your bondmen, your etc. Grant Allah is talking to who? Why didn't He talk to the woman herself? Why He said grant marriage to your bond girl and bondwoman and bondmen? Why He said grant marriage? In another verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَلَا تَعْضُلُوهُنَّ أَن يَنْكِحْنَ أَزْوَاجَهُنَّ. Don't stop them from having marriage. He's talking to who? To the people who have authority. Why He's addressing the people who have authority while He was not addressing the women themselves? And this is great evidence that a woman is not allowed to marry herself by herself. It's not allowed. Al-Hafidh ibn Hajar, the commentator of Sahih Bukhari, said this is one of the strongest evidences, because Allah is addressing those who have authority and wilayah over women. He's not addressing the women themselves. Now, since we were talking about Salat Tarawih, how many rak'ah? Here we come. This is an annual debate about how many rak'ah. Right? Now let's see. How many rak'ah, bro? How many rak'ah? How many rak'ah? 8.
2 and 2 and 2.
Let me brief it to you. Okay? The Prophet said, Salatul Layli mathna mathna. The prayer at night is pair by pair, 2, 2, 2. But if you fear Fajr, then perform Al-Witr 1. So basically, there is no limit. But when you say, no, there is a limit. It's 20 because Umar did it. It's not true. Aisha said, the Prophet had never performed over 11 rak'ah, neither in Ramadan nor at any other time. That's the Sahih Muslim, authentically. It's authentic. Now, all the narrations about Umar that he gathered people behind Ubay and he performed on them 20 are weak. There's an authentic narration narrated in Muwatta Malik authentically that he gathered people to perform behind Ubay ibn Ka'b 11 rak'ah, including witr. Ignorance. Delaying Salatul Fajr. This is another problem. What is the right time? At the time of Adhan, people used to be waiting for a period of reciting 50 ayah. 50. Let's say in 50 ayah you can recite them in what? 10, 15 minutes? Let's say 15 minutes. So that's the time between the Adhan and performing the prayer. And the Prophet used to be reciting sometimes from 60 to 100 or even 200 ayah on Salatul Fajr. So what do we add to the 15 minutes? Let's say we add 1 hour. 200 ayah. 1 hour. If I read Surah Al-Baqarah now, the whole Baqarah, it takes about 1 hour and some. So let's say he recited 200 ayah. Let's say 1 hour. 1 hour and 15 minutes, that's all. Really, I feel very sad when I see people did not pray yet, and I can see the sun even about to rise. And when the companions used to enter the mosque, they used not to recognize one another. But when they leave the mosque, they start to recognize one another. This is the definition. But now people can recognize even people outside of the mosque at the time of the prayer. It's amazing. It's amazing. Many other mistakes in the prayer. There are people who perform prayer like this, like a statue. Lips are not moving, tongue is not moving, just like that. Where's your reading? In my heart. What are your lips and tongue supposed to be doing then? So you're making your heart, lips and tongue? If the Imam said, Allahu Akbar, going to make ruku', you'll find the ma'moom behind him preceded him in his ruku' and sujood. Some with him. But you're supposed to be doing it after the Imam. Not before, not with, but after. Even Ameen. You should not say Ameen even while the Imam is saying Ameen. But now we don't hear the Ameen of the Imam. Why? Because we're saying it even before him. I'm not, I want to take my breath to say Ameen. But they were those people behind me, they prepared their breath to say it before me. Really? They say it before me. So when I say as I'm taking some air, breathing, they have said Ameen. Or you know what they lose by this? What do they lose? You tell me. I'm asking you. What people lose by saying Ameen either with the Imam or before the Imam? The forgiveness. Because the Ameen, the angels say Ameen accurately, exactly with the Imam. After the Imam, sorry. After, not with. So if your Imam coincides the same time of the Ameen of the angels, you'll be forgiven. People don't know that. Now, the 7 members should be touching your sujood, for example. There are many people who don't know that this is obligatory to touch the ground. For example, some people pray like this. And the Prophet was warning some people who raise their sights like that their sights may not return to them. The Prophet was disturbed by a carpet that he had. Because it was designed, decorated. And the Prophet said to Aisha, take this away from me, bring me another one. That means plain, had no decorations. Because it distracted me in my prayer. Now the question is, why the Prophet didn't find any alternative, for example, closing his eyes or to look at something else? Why? Because this is the way that you should be doing when you pray to Allah. Your sight should be on the place where you make sujood, and while you're making tashahhud, your sight should be focusing on your finger that you also move. But unfortunately, moving the finger, it becomes a sign that you are Wahhabi. Now, leaving before the Imam. What do you mean? Doesn't mean you have to wait for the Imam until he go, then you go. No. The turning of the Imam is to turn from Al-Qibla. So don't leave the mosque before he turns from Al-Qibla after he finishes prayer. This is also important. Or some people stand up immediately after Sami'allahu, they go and they start and performing the voluntary prayer. Now this has a negative result. Why? Because people are supposed to be praising Allah publicly, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. And those people who perform the prayer, they may come to them and say, oh, you distracted me in my prayer, I want to pray. That's why we say it's not the sunnah that you do it now, that you perform the prayer now. Because now you should be engaged in seeking Allah's forgiveness after the performance of your prayer. And when you stand up and pray immediately, you became just like a peg. You know the peg? Amud, pillar. Because every time, for example, if I perform my prayer and I want to go out, I'm busy, I'm rushed, then every person start to pray, and I start to find a map, Google map. How can I pass? How can I go? Can't go. Because there's a congestion of praying people. You can't pass. That's against the sunnah. There are people who came early and they'll be stuck because they wanted to get the first line, to gain the first line in their prayer. Now you're stucking them. And some people say, look at this Wahhabis, they don't pray the sunnah in the mosque. Well, the sunnah is to perform the voluntary prayer in your house. That's what the Prophet said. Because of ignorance, they don't know that. They perform, for example, Salatul Witr, 3 rak'ah in 2 tashahuds. And the Prophet prohibited this. He said, don't let your witr prayer similarizing al-Maghrib prayer. Yes, you can pray 3 in 1 taslim, but with 1 tashahud, not 2 tashahuds. How many people know that? In some places, I think, not the Hanafis, I don't think the Hanafis do that. If you don't make qunut in Fajr, you have to make 2 sajda of sahu. Is it in Hanafi? It's in the Shafi'i people, in the Shafi'i mosques. You have to make 2 sajda of sahu. Salatul Awwabin, 6 units to be performed between Maghrib and Isha. And this will be causing equaling the worship of 12 years. Have you heard of that before? Yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you. So alhamdulillah, I trust that what I'm saying has an experience. It's based on a very weak but even fabricated hadith. No ground. Not sticking to one another in the prayer. This is a disaster. And some people, they keep mocking us. Oh, look at those Wahhabis. They make their standing in their prayer just like a scissors. And their legs are like that. Don't they do that? Don't they say that? They do. So how can we solve the problem? Now there is a problem. That we have to cover or block the gap between the people. But how we do it? Now what I suggest, we should be always coming to the side of the Imam, closer. Okay? You have to put in consideration this side. For example, if the Imam is praying here and you're praying behind him, then you should be taking the side of the Imam. Okay. You have to try to block the 2 gaps on your right or your left. But if the other one become like a mountain, he doesn't want to move, then you have nothing to do against him. Go on the side of the Imam, and the sin will be against him. What shall you do? This is what I say. I suggest it. Because they will say to you, all right, shoulders and feet should be sticking to one another. So if you open your legs like this, you will not be able to put the shoulder on the shoulder. This is an example to discourage you from doing this sunnah. The Prophet saw a gap, some gaps, and he said, Ibadallah, O servants of Allah, La tusawwunna sufufakum, either you fix your lines, أو لا يخالفن الله بين قلوبكم, or Allah will be setting division between your hearts. Even this thing that you may not think it's a big issue, the Prophet said that it will be causing division. How much more if we have bigger problem than the gap in the prayer? We have a gap of aqeedah as well. Al-jahr bi-ameen. Raising the sound of Ameen. Al-Bukhari narrated that Ibn Zubayr, Ata, all of those companions and tabi'een, they used to be saying Ameen, and the people behind them, they used to be saying Ameen. Bukhari said that Al-Masjid had a great noise, lajja, and it is about even to shake the wall. That's in Bukhari. And they say to you, no, you should not be doing this. Many issues, I don't know. Shaking hands, for example. every time there's a habit. I'm giving examples. I'm not saying this is a big issue. They shake hands like that. Have you seen that? Yeah, I don't want to shake hands with my left, because we're not supposed to be using the left in shaking hands. But as a result, what's happening now? They're opposing what the Prophet said. They are involving the left hand in terms of shaking hands. There is nothing ever more delightful than following and tracing the Sunnah, brothers. Wallahi. Putting the hands, for example, under the navel, like this. Have you seen people praying like that? Alhamdulillah, they're not going too much down below the navel. Not too much down. So this is based on the hadith that the sunnah, it's narrated by Ali, that the sunnah is to put the palm over the palm under the navel. And the sunnah, and this hadith is weak. Narrated by Ziyad ibn Yazid as-Sawa'i. It's weak. It's not authentic. And it's contradicted, intercepted by the authentic hadith of Wa'il ibn Hujr, that the Prophet ﷺ put his right over his left, over his button, not below his button, stomach. This is authentic. What shall we talk about? I mean, I've taken much of your time. How many? I mean, don't talk about drinking the intoxication. Do you know that some brothers are dealing with intoxication, and they say the little of it doesn't intoxicate, so we can drink a little, not from whiskey or something. No. Some other materials like asal or date. When you leave it for a period of time, it becomes an intoxicant. So they say that's okay. No, the Prophet said, "Ma askara kathiruhu faqaliluhu haram." What the major of it cause intoxication, the little of it become haram. We have another problem. For example, dealing with riba. They say that Abu Hanifa allowed it, based on the narration of Makhul, who is Tabi'i, Makhul, that the Prophet ﷺ said there is no riba between a Muslim and a warrior kafir. There's no riba. Well, number one, this is munqati'. This hadith is munqati', because the Tabi'i, Makhul, did not mention the name of the Sahabi whom he's supposed to be taking it from. And Abu Hanifa, maybe, may Allah grant him forgiveness and Jannah, maybe he didn't investigate this hadith, that is munqati'. Al-Shafi'i, Al-Awza'i, many scholars, they refuted Abu Hanifa in this. Not only that, but Muhammad and Abu Yusuf, they agreed with those who refuted Abu Hanifa, and they said what Al-Awza'i said is true. Riba should not be allowed in any circumstance after the Prophet, after Allah and His Messenger made it haram. And it can be understood in another way. No riba, that means no riba is allowed. Look, the hadith is, there is no riba between Muslim and a warrior kafir. Okay? It may be understood in this way, that don't think that it is allowed to take riba from the warrior kafir. It is not allowed, no riba. But people thought that no riba, that means it is not a matter of riba. طيب. Let me end with this. Adhan and Iqamah. Adhan and Iqamah, now they are being given the same. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. This is the Adhan. The Iqamah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. They say this is the Sunnah. No, it's not. It's narrated in Bukhari. أمر بلال أن يشفع الأذان ويوتر الإقامة. Bilal was ordered to make the adhan as shafa' and to make the iqamah as witr. That means if you say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar in the adhan, you should be only saying Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar in the iqamah. Some people argued against that and they said, well, the Prophet said between two adhans, salah. So the Prophet described the iqamah as being adhan as well. It's not true. You want to call it adhan, go ahead. Because if adhan linguistically means declaration, declaring. And the iqamah is declaring as well. So it can be called adhan as well. But the description of this second adhan is different than the first one. Based on the clear hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that you should make the adhan as shafa' and make the witr the iqamah as witr. The last matter, i'tikaf. Also it's been mentioned by some people that it is wajib. The Hanafi scholars said it is wajib if you gave a vow, if you vowed to make i'tikaf. But they said i'tikaf in al-manzur wa sunnatun mu'akkadatun fima siwa, and it is highly recommended sunnah if you did not make a vow. What's the meaning of vow? To say, for example, wallahi, if the last 10 days of Ramadan I'm going to make i'tikaf. Khalas. If you gave that vow, then it becomes wajib on you to do it. But some people thought that it's always wajib. No, it's not. There are many things, but I think this inshallah is enough as examples only to show you that these are wrong matters of worship in which we should be avoiding and seek always to improve our matters of worship. Jazakumullahu khairan. Sorry for delaying you more. I think that's enough for today. Inshallah. I have many other things that maybe we leave it for another occasion, inshallah ta'ala. Jazakumullahu khairan. Is there any question you'd like to ask? Watch out. If you ask questions, it's going to be taken 1 hour more. Yes.
Yes, if you could, you mentioned about moving your finger in tashahud. Some of the people, even when you tell them that this is the hadith of the Messenger of Allah, they make mockery of this. They call names.
Allah musta'an. This is authentically narrated by Wa'il ibn Hujr, that he was observing the salah of Rasulullah. He said, I saw the Prophet invoking Allah by his hand, moving it. يحركها يدعو بها. It's in Sahih Muslim, I think. It's in Sahih Muslim. He was moving it and invoking Allah by it. It's not only as people do, they don't raise their finger until they say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. No. As a matter of fact, the raising of the Prophet's finger was for another reason, invoking. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى إبراهيم وبارك على محمد. Just like what the Prophet said to his companions before he died. Didn't I convey the message? They said yes. Then the Prophet said, Allahumma shahad, Allahumma shahad, Allahumma shahad. He was raising his finger when he was making dua to Allah. But don't do that if you're in Afghanistan. I've heard that if you do that in a mosque in Afghanistan, they may break your finger. You should know, brothers, that a person, an ignorant, is an enemy to what he lack of knowledge. If he didn't know the thing, he becomes enemy. That's why those enemies of Islam, they don't know that is Allah's religion, but because of their ignorance. Does this cover the question, inshallah? Any other question? I tried to brief the answer of your question, inshallah. Yes, brother?
So regarding the question is regarding the praying before the sunset. If someone enters in the mosque, the before sunset 2 minutes or 3 minutes is praying in
even 1 minute before the adhan of the Maghrib, there's no problem at all. Because Tahiyyat al-Masjid is wajib. There is no way that you enter the mosque while you sit down. No way.
But there is the prohibited times.
There's no contradiction. There's no contradiction. Because this prayer has a reason. It's not without reason. When this reason becomes on, then there's no blame on you. I'll give you an example. Engaging yourself in anything while the Imam is giving khutbah, is it a sin or not?
Yeah.
But the Prophet ordered the person to stand up and what? And perform Tahiyat al-Masjid while the Prophet is speaking. So that shows that this Tahiyat al-Masjid has a reason. So there's no contradiction anymore. There's exception, not contradiction. This is an exceptional case. Any other question? Yeah.
You mentioned in your talk just now about people they hold their heads in
Mhm.
the salah.
Mhm.
I asked some of the Hanafis
Mm.
and they say that we read Ya Qawiyu, Ya Qawi, Ya Hakim, something like that.
Mm.
You know. So
Mm.
can you find any hadith regarding this?
No, what I know, no, there's nothing. What I know, that if you're sick, okay, the Prophet guided you to do this, to put your hand on the spot of the pain you feel, and you say, La ilaha illallah. I forgot the dua, subhanallah. No,
Bismillah.
no, la ilaha illallah. أعوذ بالله وعزته أعوذ بعزة الله وقدرته من شر ما أجد وأحاذر. This is the dua. أعوذ بعزة الله وقدرته من شر ما أجد وأحاذر 7 times. Yes. At any place where you feel. Yes. But saying Ya Qawi and putting the hands out, these are rituals. These are cultures, in matter of fact. These are things that you grew up with. In a matter of fact, you inherited from your society, from your culture, not from the matter of deen. Any other question? Yes, brother?
Alim said, when Pharaoh said, Allah, he became
أنا ربكم الأعلى. ما لكم من إله ما علمت لكم من إله غيري. Yeah.
But when Musa said it,
Mansur al-Hallaj, Al-Hussein bin Mansur al-Hallaj. His name is Al-Hussein bin Mansur. Yeah.
So
He said, I am Allah.
he became an Ali. So can you make a comment?
He became wali?
Yeah.
No, he became another Pharaoh. How come a person say I am Allah and he becomes wali? It is true, many scholars say that Al-Hallaj said I am Allah. No, I say no, you're not, you're shaitan. I wonder, Sheikh, how did people get convinced that a person may say I am Allah and he's wali? Maybe he was drunk, or he's possessed by the devil. And that's what I believe this is the truth. I take this, that shaitan was in him. Because there is no worship that will be ending with you by saying I am Allah. The Prophet is the best one that ever worshipped Allah, and he didn't say I am Allah. It did not go with him eventually to say I am Allah. So those who bring these fairy tales to you, be aware of them. Beware of them. And I warn you what the Prophet ﷺ warned you before, that beware of those ulama as-su', that those leaders of corruption, and their corruption is worse than the corruption of the kings and the presidents, because they come to you from the religious point of view, from the religious angle, to spoil your belief. Like they say, what's wrong with asking the Prophet wasila? This wasila, seeking wasila. You're ordered by the Prophet to say, after the adhan finishes, to say, اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آتي محمدا الوسيلة. Oh Allah, give the wasila to the Prophet. But look what people are doing now. Oh Prophet, give me wasila. It's not yours. The wasila is for one man in Jannah, and that was the Prophet ﷺ. It's not yours. Don't ask the Prophet wasila. You're supposed to be asking Allah the wasila to the Prophet Muhammad. This is a maqam, a level, highest level in Jannah, that no one deserves it except the Prophet ﷺ.
You know, in tashahhud saying Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabiyyu or Assalamu ala nabiyyu, is it correct?
Aisha ibn Mas'ud and many companions, as Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said, we used to say Assalamu alayka when the Prophet was alive. After his death, they started saying Assalamu ala nabi. And that has a good meaning, because after the Prophet ﷺ died, they started to say it in the context of ghiba, yani absence, because now he died. So, and I'm sure that he taught them this because it's not a matter of opinion. Changing from Assalamu alayka to Assalamu ala nabi, it's not a matter of opinion. They used not to be preceding their opinions. It is something, it must be that the Prophet had taught them to do that after his death. If I died, then you say Assalamu ala nabi. So they started to say Assalamu ala nabi after his death. And that's authentically narrated in Bukhari as well. So now we say Assalamu ala nabi, not Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi.
Is there any harm if you say
Yes.
Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi?
No, I wouldn't say there's, because some other people, some other companions, they did not say, they kept saying that. No. But after, I would much prefer that changing, because those companions did not make the change by their opinion, and possibly that the other companions maybe did not get this. You have Ibn Abbas, for example, Jabir bin Abdullah. They used to be continuously, constantly practicing mit'ah of women, temporary marriage, until the time of Umar, when he became the Khalifa. He even warned Ibn Abbas, if you do it, if I know that you do it, I'm going to punish you. Khalas, the Prophet said it's haram, but Ibn Abbas didn't know about that.
I just wanted to make a request.
Please.
We just request that none of the brothers or the sisters leave without eating. I've got two more questions.
Two more questions.
One's from outside and one's from
Okay.
outside.
So the sisters, we did not check if they have some questions.
So if the sisters do have any questions, they can. There's some paper and pen. You can send it via little child, inshallah.
Okay.
One question is from one of the brothers who's.
All right.
Is there any legislated proof for the difference in salah for the men and women? Anything from the Prophet ﷺ, any direction?
The hijab.
No. The difference in the different way in salah. The action.
Yeah, during the salah.
I don't remember anything, except if something happened in the prayer, women would be clapping, while men should be saying Subhanallah. Nothing.
Okay.
I don't. No. Sorry. I should be more polite. Not to say nothing, but I don't remember anything now. Let me put it that way. The other question
Yeah, the other question was.
and you forgot it.
You want
Let's see if there's any question before he remembers. No other question? Yes, brother?
You mentioned about the grave.
The grave.
The building being built on top of
Yes.
the grave. How do you reconcile that with the Masjid al-Nabawi, which is the building over the Prophet's grave?
People believe that this is the house of the Prophet that had been added. It's not a grave. This is the house of the Prophet. Because the prophets should be buried at the place where they die. So some people say this is the house of the Prophet, not the grave. But I don't see that really convincing much. Based on the fact that Umar radiallahu anhu wanted to expand the mosque. So people said to him, why don't you take from this side, the side of... Because first let me remind you of this, that the house of the Prophet used to be sticking to the mosque. In I'tikaf, the Prophet used to be extending his head through the window and Aisha was washing his head, ﷺ, from inside the house. So there is only a wall, a barrier between the mosque and the house of the Prophet ﷺ. Okay. So the Prophet died in the house of who? Aisha. Now, so no companion had ever, at the time of Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman and Ali, etc., no one expanded the mosque from the side of the house of the Prophet. That means they didn't allow it. Alright? They didn't allow it. Only Al-Walid bin Abdul Malik, when he was the Khalifa, and Umar bin Abdul Aziz was his secretary, his helper, his assistant. Al-Walid gave an order that the mosque should be expanded from all sides. Sa'id ibn Musayyab, a tabi'i, he disagreed with, he criticized this. And when Al-Walid bin Abdul Malik, he made that order, there was no companion alive. No companion alive. All the companions died. Okay? Umar, when it was suggested on him to take from this side of the house of the Prophet, he said no, from the other three directions, not from the direction of the house of Rasulullah. Now I believe there was a justification for that, to expand the mosque. Okay? We leave it to Allah. But we say the evidence is what the Prophet said, not what people did after him. The Prophet said there should be no mosque built over the grave. Okay? And by the way, now there is no big distance between between the house of the Prophet and the door of the masjid today. It's only maybe 2 meters. Nothing. So there's no need for this. There is no need for this expansion from this side. But this is the fact now. But if you ask me, what is the evidence? The evidence is what the Prophet said, not what people did. Also, we should notice here that the companions did not allow it. So not only with the words of the Prophet are the evidence, even the prohibition of the companions from the expansion is another evidence. Right? Barakallahu feekum.
You mentioned regarding the marriage without wedding. Does that apply to divorced women wishing to marry again? And sometimes you see women marrying without their wedding, but seeking someone else as their wedding. But is that marriage still applicable?
We don't say, we say there's a problem here. In Allah's perspective, okay, this is haram. This contract is wrong. As the Prophet said, batil, batil, batil 3 times. But we consider the ignorance of people. We can't say that to people, you did not get married yet. Now we are approving the marriage of the Christians who became Muslims. We don't say to the Christians when they become Muslim, make a new contract of your marriage. We observe it. Despite maybe they did not have even witnesses. Maybe they did not marry by this condition of wali. But it's approved. We don't make it conditional. The same case is with those people, for example, in Pakistan, in India, who had this marriage, but they did not know. But if people know now, for example, if people know and they do it, and people warn them, watch out, the Prophet said, and if they got married, despite their knowledge of the hadith of Rasulullah, I would say the contract is false, and they did not get married yet. They should know that they did not get married yet. And it is a fornication. Because people are taken by the knowledge they have. Yes,
I was going to ask about the thing that you mentioned about voluntary salah, reading at home. Which ones do you mean, as in, like, is it?
The Prophet ﷺ said, وَصَلُّوا فِي بُيُوتِكُمْ, perform the prayer in your houses. فَإِنَّ خَيْرَ صَلَاةِ الْمَرْءِ فِي بَيْتِهِ, for the best kind of prayer of the person is in his house, إِلَّا الْمَكْتُوبَ, except the obligatory one.
So every, sunnah.
Yeah, because the Prophet said, don't let your houses be like graves. Pray in it.
Now Saudi Arabia, they're not endorsing 20 rakat of Taraweeh to the whole world via this media because they're endorsing that, the marketing. So what do you say about it?
We say what the Prophet did and what Umar did is the evidence. And remember what I said from the beginning. If people, for example, perform 20, 22, 24, okay, we're not saying it's haram. We're not saying they made it wrong. We say, if you say that we're doing it based on what Umar did, we say to you, no, this is unauthentic, it's weak. You want to make it 100 even Taraweeh at night, we're not going to say no to you. Because the Prophet made it open. He said the prayer of the night is pair, pair, pair. He didn't say it should be, no. But the sunnah of the Prophet, he was limitizing himself to performing 11. He didn't want to make it hard on his nation. That's why Aisha said he used not to exceed more than 11 rak'ah, neither in Ramadan nor at any other month. That doesn't mean it's haram to do more than 11. No, don't misunderstand us. But we say it became like a matter of doctrine. If you're Braidwi, it must be 20. If you're Wahhabi, it must be 8 or 11. This is the mistake here. Okay? Jazakallah khair. I think now it's time for food. So Jazakallah khairan for your attendance. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make our assembly blessed and a matter of forgiveness by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Jazakumullahu anna khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.